Okay, in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to play the cat or how to create the cat and mouse game in Scratch. So basically, you are going to control the cat with your arrow keys. And you can hear the music in the background. And every time you catch a mouse, you get 1 point on the scoreboard. And then I have my game set up where if I catch five mice, then you win the game. Okay, so I'm just going to stop that right now. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open Scratch, make sure you are logged in. Name your project Cat and Mouse. So I have Scratch open. I'm going to go to Create right up here in the top left. And then up here where it says Untitled 15, I'm going to call it Cat and Mouse. And I'm just going to call mine Demo because I'm demoing this. Okay, so going back to the instructions, we're going to delete the cat sprite. We're going to choose the Cat 2 sprite, make the size 60%, and then we're going to choose a bedroom backdrop. Okay, so let's go back to our game. Underneath your stage, let's click the little garbage can here to get rid of this cat sprite. So that's deleted. I'm going to move my video here. Float your mouse over. Well, actually, you can click on this little cat, choose a sprite. I want cat 2. So if you scroll over, you're going to see him over here on the far right. And then right below your stage where it says size 100%, I want you to change that to 60 and hit enter. That's going to make the cat smaller. Okay. Then you're going to click on the purple circle in the bottom right corner that says choose a backdrop. And I want you to choose any of the 3 bedrooms. You can choose whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. Okay. So we have just completed this first part. Okay. So we're going to code the cat. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the right, left, up, and down arrow keys to make our cat move. Okay. So every single time you start, first of all, make sure your cat is selected, which it is. Every single time you start code, every time you always have to start with an event. Otherwise your code will not run. Okay. You're going to take this block that says when space key pressed. I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see it a little bit better. Instead of space, I want you to click the down pointing arrow and we're going to choose our right arrow. So we obviously want our cat to go to the right. Okay, remember I want you to picture your stage as a piece of graph paper with an XY axis. Remember the X axis goes left to right, the Y axis goes up and down. So if we want our cat to go right, okay, that is our X axis. So we're going to go to motion and I want you to scroll down and I want you to see change X by 10. Okay, if you leave 10 in here, that means every time you press your right arrow, your cat is going to go 10 numbers on your number line from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and so on. This is a little slow for me, so I'm going to change this to 30, and he's just going to take bigger steps. Okay, now we have to create code for our left arrow. So I'm going to go back to events. I'm going to grab when space key is pressed. I'm going to grab this down pointing arrow, and instead of space, I'm going to choose left arrow. Okay, I'm going to go back to motion. I'm going to grab change X by 10, but instead of 10. Okay, now if we want, think about your X and Y axes. And if you're at the point 0, 0, and you are moving to the right, those are positive numbers. If you are at 0, 0, and you move to the left, those are negative numbers. So we want this to be a negative number. So we're going to go negative 30. And now test it out. Right arrow, my cat goes to the right. Left arrow, my cat goes to the left. Okay, we're going to go ahead and create our up and down arrows. So let's go to event. Let's grab when space key pressed. Let's choose up arrow. Now, the X axis goes left to right. The Y axis goes up and down. So when we go to motion, instead of saying change X by 10, we have to say change Y by 10. But instead of 10, I'm just going to be consistent and I'm going to say 30. So now if I press my up arrow, my cat goes up. So obviously then now when we do our down arrow, we're going to go back to motion. We're going to say change Y by, now remember, if you're at 0, 0 and you're going up, those numbers are positive. If you're at 0, 0 and you go down, those numbers are negative. So we're going to make this negative 30. Okay. So now our cat goes in all 4 directions. Here's the problem. Cats don't run backwards or sideways. So what we want to do is we want to create costumes. So when the cat is moving to the right, its head faces right, just like it is. When it's moving to the left, we're going to flip it so its head is facing left. When it goes up, we're going to turn it or rotate it so its head's facing up. And then when it goes down, we're going to rotate it so its head goes down. So in the top left corner, you're going to click on the Costumes tab. Okay, we already have a cat costume with the cat facing right. But if you look here in the top left, this costume is called Cat 2. I want you to backspace the words Cat 2, and I want you to type the word right because its head is facing right. Okay, I'm going to have you right click on this little card in the top left corner and choose duplicate. Instead of right to, I want you to change the name of this costume to left. And then as long as your selection arrow is selected here, is the one selected on your toolbar here, you can go flip horizontal, and that's going to flip the cat to the left. Okay, we're going to right click again. We're going to duplicate again. And then instead of left to, I'm going to name this one up. Now this time we can't just do a flip because that'll just flip the direction. We have to actually rotate. So what I'm going to do is, just like we did in Tinkercad, I'm going to draw a big box around this cat, and up here on the top toolbar there's a group button. I'm going to group it together, and then look just below your cat, you're going to see a rotation arrow down here, the two-sided rotation arrow. I'm going to hold my mouse on it, and I'm just going to rotate the cat so it's facing up. I can zoom on a little so you can see that better. Okay, so now he's facing up, and then I'm going to right click on the up. I'm going to duplicate it again. I'm going to name this last costume down. And now I can just do a flip vertical because that'll just flip him so he's facing down. So you should have a right facing right, a left facing left, an up facing up, and a down facing down. Click on the code tab in the top left corner. We have to actually add a block of code to each one of these so that it switches to the proper costume. So I want you to go to the purple looks category, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth button down says switch costume to. Can you please place one of these blocks under each of these 4 threads of code? And then we simply have to match the words. So on this one right here, it says one right arrow. So we have to switch costume to right. The one that says left arrow, we're going to switch to left. The one that says up arrow, we're going to switch to up. And the one that says down arrow, we switch to down. And then we should test it. So use all, set my green flag, use all 4 of your arrow keys, make sure your cat is going in the right direction. If not, you did something wrong with your code and you need to fix it, okay? All right, so we just did right, left, up arrow, down arrow. We created the new cat costumes and we did the code for that. So now we're going to create reset code for the cat. So we're going to create code so that the cat faces the same direction and is in the same spot on the stage every time the game restarts. So I want my cat facing right when the game starts. So I'm going to hit my right arrow. So notice my cat is facing right. And then I'm going to take my mouse, and I want you to do the same. Drag your cat wherever you want your cat to be when the game starts. You can place it wherever you want. It doesn't matter where you place it. What this is going to do is every single time a player hits the green flag, that cat will go to that specific location. So now we have to create code so that happens. Remember, every thread of code starts with an event. So we're going to say when green flag is clicked. We're going to go to looks, and we're going to say switch costume to. And in my case, I want my cat facing right. So I'm going to say right. You might have had a different one, and that's okay. And then I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to grab the 1, 2, 3. The fifth block down says go to a certain XY position. So I have an X coordinate of 16 and a Y coordinate of 20. You want to make sure these two numbers match these two numbers that are under the stage. And if they don't, then you need to type in the proper numbers there. So I'm just going to move my cat out of the way. I'm going to press my green flag. When I press my green flag, the cat should be facing right, and it should go to the location 1620 on my stage. So I'm going to hit my green flag. Notice my cat's facing right, and notice it is at the location 1620. So that is our reset code, okay? All right, I'm going to go back to the instructions. We are going to add sound to the backdrop. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is click on our backdrop, and I use the sound eggs. This is the sound that's going to be playing over and over in the background. You don't have to use the sound eggs. You can use whatever you want, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So watch where I'm going with my mouse. I'm going to go underneath my stage. You're going to see a tiny picture of your stage. I want you to click on that. That opens up your backdrop. How do I know that my backdrop is open? Well, if I look at my tabs in the top left, instead of saying code costumes sounds, it says code backdrops sounds. Okay, remember we're going to add a sound effect, so I'm going to click on the sound tab up here. And then in the bottom left corner, let's see if I can hide this, there's a little purple speaker that just says choose a sound. Now there's a bunch of sounds here. You can float your mouse over them to hear what they do. I already know I'm going to do eggs, so I'm going to just type eggs in here. But again, you can find whatever one you want and click on it. This is what egg sounds like. Okay. Once you find a sound you like, you're going to click the code tab in the top left corner, and we're going to create code. Every code starts with an event. So we're going to see when green flag is clicked. Now, we want to use what's called a forever loop under control. So if you go to control and grab a forever loop, anything you put inside the forever loop will loop or continue over and over and over again until the game ends. We want our sound to continue the entire game, so we're going to use a forever loop. I'm going to go to the kind of the pinkish color purple or pinkish purple sounds category, and I'm going to say play sound eggs until done. and put that inside your forever loop. And then when I hit my green flag, you're going to hear that the sound plays over and over and over. Okay. I'm going to hit my red stop sign to stop that. And we're going to go back to the instructions and we're going to add the mouse one sprite and change the size to 50. So I'm going to float my mouse, or I'm going to click on choose a sprite in the bottom right corner. You can either scroll down to the M's or you can type in mouse one. Here's mouse one. And then underneath the stage, the size is currently 100. I want you to type 50 and hit enter because we want the mouse to be smaller than the cat, obviously, if he's chasing that, okay? I'm going to go back. All right, coding the mouse to appear and disappear. So remember, the whole point of the game is that the mouse shows up and the cat is to try to catch him, right? We don't want the game to be predictable. We want to make sure that the mouse shows up in a different location every time it pops up. We also want to make sure that it stays on the screen for a random amount of time, because if it stays on for 1 second and then goes away and then comes on for 1 second and goes away, it's too predictable. It becomes too easy. The third thing we want to do is when it hides, we want it to hide for a random amount of time too, just to get rid of all the predictability. So we're going to create code for that to happen, okay? So make sure your mouse sprite is selected. So click on the mouse below the stage. Every thread starts with an event. So let's say when green flag is clicked. We're going to do a forever loop because we want continuously throughout the game the mouse to show up and the mouse to hide. Okay, so the first thing we want our mouse to do is actually show up on the stage. So we're going to go to our purple looks category, and if you scroll down, you're going to find a little purple block called show. Can you please place that inside your forever loop? And then we want it to stay or to wait and stay on the stage for a random amount of time. Okay, so if you go to control, the very top block says wait 1 second. Now, you're going to notice there's a white kind of oval or circle here. You can put any type of block that has rounded edges inside of this circle, okay? We want it to wait for a random amount of time. Anytime you're dealing with anything that has to do with math, like random numbers, you're going to find that in the green operators category. So I'm going to go to the green operators category and notice this big block that says pick random 1 to 10. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to float it over the white circle. When you see the white circle kind of glowing on its outer edges, you know that you've placed the block properly. So right now the little white circle is not glowing. Watch what happens. Okay, see how it glows? Not glowing, glows, not glowing, glows. When you see it glow, you can drop it, and that block actually takes the place of what was in there previously, in our case, the number 1. Now, if we keep the mouse on the stage anywhere between 1 and 10 seconds, 10 seconds is a really, really long time. The game would be too easy. So I'm going to change mine to from 1 to 3 seconds. So this means the mouse will stay on the stage anywhere from 1 to 3 seconds. Now, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 1.5, it could be 2.8. It's going to be anywhere in between that time. Okay? Then what we want it to do is we want it to hide. So I'm going to go back to the purple looks category. I'm going to find the little purple block that says hide. And notice I'm still putting it inside the forever loop, but under the wait. Okay? While it's hidden, we want the mouse to do 2 things. We want it to move to another random location somewhere on the stage, and we want it to stay hidden for a random amount of time. Okay, so to move to a random location, we're going to go to the blue motion category, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th block down says glide 1 second to a random position. Let's place that under hide. I'm just going to change the 1 to a 0.1. We're not going to see it move, but this will just make the game move a little bit faster. So we already have it moving now to a random position. Now we need it to stay hidden for a random amount of time. So we're going to redo this wait, pick random 1 to 3 seconds block. So I'm going to go back to control. I'm going to grab wait 1 second. I'm going to go back to the green operators. I'm going to grab the pick random 1 to 10. I'm going to float it over the oval until it glows. And I'm going to change the 1 to 10 to 1 to 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press my green flag, and you're going to watch, and you should test yours out too. Make sure the mouse shows up for a random amount of time, hides, shows up somewhere else for a random amount of time, hides, and so on. So you can see my mouse just disappeared. It showed up in a random position. It hid. It showed up in a random position. And everything is random, the amount of time it's staying on the stage and where it's going and the amount of time it's hidden. So that's perfect. That works perfectly. Okay, scrolling down. Create reset code for the mouse. We always want to make sure when the game begins that the mouse is hidden. Okay, so we're just going to say when the green flag is clicked, hide. Easy peasy. We're going to go to events. We're going to say when green flag is clicked. We're going to go to looks and scroll down and choose hide. That was an easy one. Okay, moving right along. we're gonna create a score variable and add code to the cat's reset code. Okay, so we want to keep score. Okay, we want to every time the cat catches the mouse, we want the scoreboard to change. So the first thing I want you to do, can everybody please click on the cat variable here, or cat sprite? I'm sorry, the cat sprite. Okay, I want you to go to the dark orange variables category here at the bottom, and notice there is no block that currently says score. If there is none, we have to make our own. So at the top, you're going to see a white rectangle that says make a variable. I want you to click on that, and I want you to name the variable score. Leave it for all sprites. Click OK. Notice now on our stage, we actually have a scoreboard, and we actually have a variable called score. Okay. When the game begins, we want our scoreboard to always reset back to 0. So we're going to grab the block that says set my variable to 0, and we're going to place it under this go to block. Remember, this is our reset code. Okay. But instead of the words my variable, you have to click this down pointing arrow and choose score. So what we're saying is when the green flag is clicked, this is the cat now, the cat will always face right. In my case, yours might be different. My cat will go to the location 1620 and the score will always be reset back to 0. Okay? All right, moving right along. Number 10, code what happens when the cat catches the mouse. We're going to create code so when the cat catches the mouse, a point is added to the score. All right, so we're going to stay with our cat sprite. We're going to start a new thread of code. So we're going to go to events and say when green flag is clicked. We want this to happen continuously throughout the game. So we're going to go to control and we're going to do a forever loop. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to say if the cat touches the mouse, then change the score by 1. If the cat touches the mouse, change the score by 1. So notice right below the forever block, there's a block that says if then. We're going to grab that and put it inside the forever loop. Between the words if and then is an empty hexagon. We can't leave this empty. Something has to go here. The only type of blocks that can fit in here are blocks that have pointy edges, okay, as opposed to the round ones. Okay, this one is a pointy edge. So what we want to say is if the cat is touching the mouse, touching is a sense. So let's go to the light blue sensing category and say touching mouse pointer. Notice it has pointy edges. We're going to float it over the hexagon until the hexagon glows. Make sure it's glowing. But instead of the words mouse pointer, we're going to say mouse 1, which is the name of our sprite. So we're going to say continuously throughout the game, if the cat is touching the mouse, then we're going to say change the score by 1. So I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to say change my variable by 1. We're going to put that inside the if then block. But instead of the word my variable, I'm going to do score. Now, if you play your game, you're going to notice something really funky happening. Okay, when I catch a mouse. Oh, I missed him. Hold on, let me catch a mouse. Come on. Oh, I missed him again. Let's see if I can get this guy. Oh my gosh. Come on. I'm bound to catch one, right? They're so far away. There we go. Okay, look what's happening to my score. I caught one mouse, and my score is over 25,000 points. The reason that is happening is the cat is an image. The mouse is an image. We learned in Photoshop, all images are made up of what? Pixels. So the way that Scratch is reading this code right here is anytime any single pixel on the cat touches a single pixel on the mouse, it adds a point. So when these two images are overlapping or connecting, it's adding, in my case, over 25,000 points. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. We only want 1 point added. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a block in between here. We're going to say if the cat is touching the mouse, wait until it's not touching the mouse before you change the score. Okay, so we're going to go to control, and if you scroll down, you're going to find a block that says wait until. You're going to drop that above the score block. Notice there's an empty hexagon. Okay, I'm going to go to the green operators, and I'm going to find the block that says not, and I'm going to float it over the hexagon till it glows, right, to drop it in. Another empty hexagon. We're going to go back to sensing, and we're going to do touching mouse again. I'm going to float that over that hexagon and change this down pointing arrow to mouse. So now this code says when the green flag is clicked continuously throughout the game, if the cat touches the mouse, wait until it's not touching the mouse, then change the score. So now if I play my game and I catch a mouse, here we go. Notice, oh, okay. So notice how I got 3 points. I got 3 points for catching one mouse. We do not want that to happen. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create code so that the mouse disappears as soon as it's caught. And then if you look here, it says this prevents the same mouse from being caught twice. So we're going to put code in the mouse sprite. Okay. So go ahead and below your stage, click on the mouse sprite. And what we're going to do is we're going to create code that says the instant that the cat touches the mouse, make sure that mouse disappears so it can't be caught twice. Okay. All right. So where am I here? So we're going to start with an event. We're going to say when green flag is clicked. We're going to do a forever loop. So go to control and do a forever loop. We're going to do an if then because we're going to say if it's touching the cat, basically disappear. So right inside the forever loop, do an if then. Okay. Inside this first hexagon, we're going to say touching. So let's go back to sensing. Grab that top block, float it over the hexagon till it glows. Remember, we're in the mouse right now. We're coding the mouse. So we're going to say when the mouse touches the cat. Okay, what do we want it to do? Where am I? Hold on, I'm in the wrong place. Forever, if then, touching cat. Yeah, we're going to go to control, and we're going to say wait 1 second. Notice I grabbed the first block that says wait 1 second, but instead of 1 second, we want it to really disappear instantaneously. So I'm going to say wait 0.1 seconds, and then I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to say hide. And this will force the mouse to hide instantaneously. So if I click my green flag and I catch a mouse, the second I catch it, the mouse disappears. I cannot get an extra point. So that's perfect code right there. All right. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a you win backdrop. So we want to say that when we get a certain number of points, the player wins the game, and the game is over. So first thing we have to do is make a backdrop that says you win. So in the bottom right corner, I want you to click on this little, not the big picture of the stage, but the tiny picture of the stage again, and that'll of the backdrop. Okay, in the top left corner, click on your backdrops tab, and you probably have two backdrops, backdrop 1 and bedroom 2. Let's go ahead and just delete backdrop 1. Just hit your delete, your garbage can here. And then I want you to right click on bedroom 2 and duplicate it. And under costume, instead of bedroom 3, or whatever your bedroom is called, it might not be bedroom 3, it might be called bedroom 1 or bedroom 2, but I would like you to name it You Win. Okay. Notice your toolbars look a little funky. Your tools on your toolbar. So in the bottom left corner of your stage, there's a purple button that says convert to vector. Go ahead and do that, and then notice your buttons look back to normal. Okay, I want you to click on T for text. Decide what color you want your text to be, the color of the words you win, right? We're going to write the words you win, so decide on a color. You don't have many choices for fonts, but you have a few fonts here, so choose a font that you like. Don't worry about size right now. Click right in the middle of your stage or somewhere on your stage, type the words you win. Okay. Now, you're going to notice, like in my case, mine looks really small. There's no way to change the point size, but what you can do is choose your selection arrow on your toolbar. And notice now we have sizing handles going around the words you win, and you can use your sizing handles to make it as big as you want and to move it to where you want on the stage. Okay. Once you are happy with your you win backdrop, we're going to create code. Okay, so I'm going to go down here, create code to end the game. So we will create code so that when the cat catches 5 mice, in my case 5, you might have something different, the game ends and the backdrop switches to you win. Okay, so let's go back to cat and mouse. I'm going to go to the, I think we put this in the cat code. Yeah, we're going to put this in the cat. So click on your cat below your stage, click on the code tab in the top left corner. Let's go to events and grab when green flag is clicked. Let's go to control and grab a forever loop. Inside the forever loop, let's do an if then, because we're going to say if the score equals 5, then switch the backdrop to you win and end the game. Okay. So I'm going to go to operators, and there's an equals. There's a circle equals 50. Can you please drop that inside the hexagon? In this first circle, we want to say if the score equals. Okay, so we're going to grab our score variable. So let's go to the dark orange variables category. Grab the round block that says score, float it over that white circle till it glows. I'm not having my player play till 50. I'm going to have my player play till 5. So if the score equals 5, what do we want to happen? We want the cat to hide, because I don't like that the cat's up at the same time the you win backdrop is up. So I'm going to go to looks and scroll down, and I'm going to grab the hide block. So we want it to hide. We want to switch the backdrop to you win. That's when the score equals 5. And then if you go to control and go to the bottom, there's a button that says stop all. This stops all movement, it stops all sound, it stops everything. So that basically ends the game. Now, here's the problem we have right now. If the player has you win, and you start the game again, notice the you win backdrop stays up here. The reason is we didn't put anything in here that says switch the back to when we start the game. This is our reset code. Remember, when we reset the game, our cat always moves to the right. It goes to a certain location. The score goes back to 0. We also want to make sure here that the backdrop goes back to our original bedroom. So I'm going to go to looks, find the block that says switch backdrop to, and in this case, mine is bedroom 2. Now when I hit the green flag, the you win goes away and it goes back to our regular backdrop. Okay. We are done. So you should really test your game. In my case, I would play up to 5 to make sure that it actually switches to the you win backdrop. Um, however many points you set your game to play to, you should play to till that many points. And let's just do this really quick. We have 3. Let me see if I can quickly catch 2 more mice. Oh, I missed that one. Darn it. 4, I need 1 more, and then hopefully my backdrop will switch. It does. Notice the sound ended, the game ended, the cat disappeared, everything worked, okay? At this point, you should, if you haven't done so, you should do a file save now. Okay, that will save everything. You're going to click this orange share button. Okay, if you don't see this orange share button, I want you to go to see project page. There might be something up here that tells you have to confirm your email. You would have to go into your Gmail account. Scratch at some point sent you an email to verify that you're a real person. If you don't see this, call me over and I will come and help you. We're going to click the share button. Okay, you're going to type instructions. Use the arrow keys to control the cat and catch the mouse. Something like that. Then you're going to click this copy link button right here. And you're going to copy this link into Canvas in order to submit. Okay? Hopefully you got everything correct and this was not too bad for you. Okay, good luck.